So, Kurt, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I just quit my corporate job and just painting and keeping fit.
Lucky I bring home a lot of bacon.
That's my partner, Dean. Thinks he's my sugar daddy.
Right. I'll see you in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
I'm a bit over the gay scene. Just find it a bit shallow. Don't even go clubbing anymore. Just sort of, I mean, occasionally I go to a sauna, but that's about it.
You guys want to meet my girlfriend? Yeah? Nick. Yeah. This is Nikki. Yeah.
When did you guys meet?
We met a couple of weeks ago at a bar, which we're going to later. I'm catching up with some boys of mine tonight because they party much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys use drugs every weekend, or?
I do, yeah. Like, it's pretty unusual for me not to pop a pill or have some speed or something, but tonight, Nick's gonna take her first pill tonight, so it'll be fine. I'm here, okay? It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's tonight. That's what we're doing.
And this is my sister, Mish.
Hi.
Oh my God, it's him.
Don't forget it's Nan's 80th birthday tomorrow.
I'm just going to take Cameron out for a couple of drinks and introduce him to my friends.
Friends?
Well, at least all my friends aren't from work.
Well, at least my friends aren't from the club.
Well, what's the difference? Yeah, Crystal Ease Coke if it's given to me. It's a bit expensive. G sometimes. But probably my drug of choice would be Crystal.
The importance of the scene for young gay and lesbian people, kind of like when I came out onto the scene, and having come from a small country town and not thinking that there were any other gay people in the world but me, and then actually discovering that there's a whole community of people, okay, and actually feel some sort of connection, okay, to a greater community, to society.
Ready?
When you're first coming out onto the scene, it's a whole new environment and you don't actually quite know what's going on. And so when you're first experiencing all this new stuff, there is a pressure to take drugs, but the drugs are then used as sort of like a relaxant or a release.
So, Kurt, can you tell us about your relationship with Dean?
Yeah, we've got an open relationship. I mean, Dean goes away a lot. He goes interstate. So, well, it's my chance to party.
So, what are some of the guys like that you meet online?
Oh, no, some play it straight, but others, you know, like meeting up, doing crystal, stuff like that. Verse top means, yeah, he'll most likely want to be on top, but, you know, maybe want to be fucked too. Or this one, I don't have wheels. That's basically, I just want to jerk off on webcam. There's plenty of those guys.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah. But not much. We usually get together. That's the idea. Yeah. When I grew up, I was pretty anti-drugs. The line between what I would and wouldn't do was pretty clear. I started smoking a bit of pot, so the line shifted. I went to uni, started doing a few pills. Line shifted again. There's drugs I wouldn't do. I mean, I wouldn't do heroin. But then again, I said that about crystal, so.
Sorry, Nick. I don't know where he is.
No, it's all right. Was he supposed to be here?
Yeah. He was. Hang on. He's here now.
Oh, okay.
Do a lot of your friends take drugs?
Yes. Pretty much all of them, except for me, I guess. Yeah. Tonight's gonna be my first night though, so it should be pretty fun, I guess. I'm with Josie, so she should be okay. She makes me feel safe.
Hey, he can get the pills.
Yep.
But he can also get ice too.
Do you want to... Oh, is that... Oh, I don't really think I want to do rice.
That's okay.
Are you
That's fine.
sure?
Yeah,
Sorry,
of
can we
course.
just do pills?
Yeah.
Is that okay? No worries.
Okay, see you soon.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the first time I used crystal meth, we'd been out on a pill bender for 2 or 3 days and found myself on the lounge room floor of this girl's house who I'd never met before. And she just said, look, sweetheart, if you've got to wake up, smoke this. And it was sort of like, oh, okay, what's that? And she said, oh, no, it'll just take care of you. Didn't tell me what it was. So I didn't exactly know what I was doing, but I wasn't in a state to really question. Didn't really care, probably. And, smoked a bowl and was up and partying again. Yeah, for 72 hours. It was kind of like, whoops. Yeah, what the hell was that?
Crystal meth, when you take it inside the body, causes you to release all of these chemicals in your brain called neurotransmitters, and that's the main effect it has. And they're called dopamine, noradrenaline, and serotonin. They're the main ones. And inside your brain, they have the effect of making you feel good normally. And when you have crystal, you release them in much greater quantities than you normally do. So you get this intense feeling of euphoria.
Crystal meth was firstly kind of identified early to kind of mid-90s and then seen as an illicit type of drug, as an amphetamine. So it comes in a crystallised form where the speed's more powder and the base is more gooey. It's more crystal-like, almost looks like glass. The high quality stuff, anyway, the clearer it is. People can use in moderation on a more recreational basis. However, what we've seen is that people who do go to problematic use generally start in that recreational social phase. So for whatever reason, it develops to a more severe type phase. But yeah, some people, and they're the people we see in treatment.
So how'd you go?
Yeah, good. Methods.
What do you mean?
A lot of addicts are starting to deal now because it's got so expensive, and so you're just skimming off the top. Yeah, well, it makes it easier to get that. But it's still expensive.
Hey, you all right? Hey, you're just rushing to wear up. Can we get some water? Nick, please don't. Nick, can you not film? Don't film this part. Please don't film it. Thanks.
So, what's the attraction to the crystal?
What's the attraction? Sex. I mean, the high's incredible, and well, you go all night. Well, it lasts all night. Yeah. When Dean's away and I get to party and do crystal. I mean, there's rules. I mean, never the same guy twice, and yeah, and not in our bed, so strangers on the couch. I see you guys, not tonight. I'll see you Monday. Yeah? See you then.
Yeah?
See you, mate.
Okay. All right. Have a good weekend.
See you, buddy.
See you, mate.
See you, mate. See you, Dick.
See you.
I'll see you Monday. Yeah?
Basically, when you're high on meth, you can tweak all night. And all of the next day if you want. For me, it is like my whole entire body, my skin is like that on a drum kit. And as soon as it gets touched, that vibration rushes right through under me, like under my skin. So for me, it just intensifies the whole sexual experience.
Crystal tends to make people very disinhibited. They tend to have more sex and have it for longer, and there's often a problem where you have a longer time to have orgasm. And so people actually, in the process of having sex for longer periods, find it harder to actually maintain erections. And that's actually one clue, I think, when people come in to the GP asking for things like Viagra and other erection medications that maybe in an otherwise healthy person, this might be a clue that they might be using some sort of drug socially. It also has the implication there that there's an increased risk of sexually transmitted infections. If people are having sex for longer periods, they're much more likely to have injuries, have abrasions, and have a portal of entry for sexually transmitted infections.
How many guys do you think you were with over the weekend?
I don't know, maybe 10. maybe 15.
Do you think you could have had that many men without having Crystal?
No, you couldn't do that without Crystal.
Does Dean party like this when he's home?
No, Dean's positive, so he's worried about his TD4 cells. Yeah, I mean, if he partied like I party, he'd probably get pneumonia and lose his job, so... No, he doesn't do it, he doesn't party like me.
There's no truth at all in the suggestion that taking Crystal maintains your CD4 count. If anything, the evidence is completely the opposite. People who are using Crystal generally have poorer appetites and poorer health. And people who have a poor nutritional status and are looking after themselves less often, sleeping less often, are much more likely to find that their HIV illness is going to progress more rapidly. They're much more likely to get other infections on top of their HIV. And in the process, find that overall their CD4 count, if anything, will decrease in time.
What? Well, because I was inside by myself like 20 minutes.
You were not inside by yourself. I saw that you were with people. I saw that you were
Yeah, but I don't
fine.
know those people.
But
They're
you
not really
will,
my
Nick.
friends.
They're good people. They're fine. They'll be your friends.
Well-
They're looking out for you. I asked them to.
Yeah, well, why couldn't you have just invited me when you were out there?
Because
why
you said
couldn't-
before you didn't want
So
to
what
spend
happened?
nights, so I didn't want she's just shitty. She's coming down. But she's annoyed because I took ice and didn't tell her, whatever though. But I think she's probably just not used to, feeling the way she's feeling, so all good.
Buying drugs from different dealers or dealers you don't know can be a risk because you don't know the potency of the drug. But especially if they're a new dealer, it's best to try a little bit first to see what it's like, to get an idea of the feeling and how strong it is.
Oh, you get fucked up first of all, go to one party, come home, have a half-hour recovery, 2-hour recovery, get fucked up again, go back out, and just kept on going like that. The one thing where the transitions got scary was where it got kind of slippy and I didn't know, because of where I worked and what I was doing, I didn't know what was home life, I didn't know what was party life, and I didn't know what was work life.
I just needed 2 hours sleep before the barbecue. So I took a couple of Valium and knocked myself out.
Scared the shit out of me, He came in late as usual, early hours this morning, daybreak. So I thought I'd let him sleep a little bit longer. Then when I went in later, couldn't wake him. Where did you get the Valium from?
Some friends gave them to me.
So-called friends? I had to ring Mum and Dad and tell them some bullshit. Now they're pissed off with me. Then you tried to take another Valium. I had to fight you for them. Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember threatening me? Don't you remember that? No. I'm sick of you. Get out of my sight.
Yeah, a lot of people actually use a lot of sedatives when they're taking crystal, when they've finished partying and they want to knock themselves out and sleep. And it's particularly dangerous in this situation because part of the natural come down of being on crystal is that when the drug ceases to have its effect, you can become profoundly tired and sleep for an extended period. And if on top of that you're taking a sedative, whether it be alcohol, whether it be Valium or any other sleeping tablet, the effect of that sleeping tablet or the alcohol is much increased, and you're more likely to run into problems because of that.
A pivotal point that when someone has found their drug use has become problematic is when generally one incident or occurrence has happened where they've either something in their social world has occurred, such as a relationship breakdown or a family argument. They might have lost their job, perhaps, or another sign is they've used too much and become either psychotic or even violent. Generally an incident where they regret. And this is generally a sign for someone that their drug use has become a problem. And they're the type of people who will come and see us, but also we know that there's people who don't and try and handle situations on their own.
People are like, well, you're not yourself anymore, Matthew. You've become a different person. You've become a different animal. You're actually not that nice to be around. Actually, you know, when you go out, you are so over the top. You freak people out. You're doing people's heads in. When are you going to pull your head in? But the funny thing is, because you're so flipped out and you're so fucked up, you don't believe what they're saying. You think that they're just having a lend. It's just a laugh. And so you go out and you do it all again.
Amyl or no amyl. My doctor says either take Viagra or amyl, never both.
So what you got there?
This is a bit of coke.
Sometimes I feel guilty when I take drugs. My ex Loudon said I had to get over the idea that drugs were bad. Loudon introduced me to drugs on the scene. He was one of the funniest people. He had so many friends. I miss him so much. We ended up here after a big night out with lots of friends and having lots of drugs. We had a fight. So he came out here onto the balcony. Police came and knocked on the door and asked if anyone was missing. Loudon had fallen off this balcony. No one talks about him anymore.
When you're in a drugs relationship, people tend to hide shit from each other. They don't want the other one to know. Do you know what I mean? Exactly what they're up to, how much they're spending, what's exactly going on. It's a false relationship. People start lying to each other. People start hiding things because you don't want someone to know how fucked you are. You don't want someone to know how freaked out you are. It's scary. And then the relationship just becomes based on just a whole string of lies.
Well, I'm a bit alarmed at the rate that Nikki's taking drugs, you know? Like, she's crazy on it. It's like she's trying to stick it up her upbringing that, you know, she can take these drugs now. And, yeah, it's sort of not fun around her anymore, you know?
So how much is she using?
Probably as much as me. But I see that as a problem because I've used heaps more and I'm the one spending every cent on it. We're going out 3 nights a weekend.
Is that a problem or?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she told me the other day that she's failed one of her subjects because her lecturer told her she missed too many classes.
I hated that subject anyway.
But that's not the point, Nick. The point is that you missed too many classes and you failed a subject.
Where's that 50?
What? What 50?
The 50 that was in my wallet yesterday.
Well, I don't know, Nick. Maybe you spent it.
No, I didn't spend it, and it was in my wallet yesterday.
So you're saying I took it?
No,
is that...
I'm not saying you took it. I'm saying I need it, and it was in my wallet yesterday. And where is it now?
Well, I don't know, Nick.
Okay.
Other signposts that the drug use is becoming more problematic is it starts controlling your life more. So when you start using, you still be able to maintain things in your life, such as friends, family, work, hobbies, and so on. But what you'll find when it becomes more problematic is it starts taking over all of those things and becomes the centre of your life, and you start planning everything around your drug use, your finances and your activities and what you do during the day. So you might actually start scheduling your weeks and days around your drug use or perhaps recovery, especially like on weekends. Taking Mondays off is a good example. And there's a sign that, you know, the drug use is becoming the centre of your world, not just part of it.
Yeah, I had a pretty big weekend, sauna hopping, and I think I might be exposed to HIV.
Okay, so did you have unsafe sex on the weekend?
Yeah, I was fucked by a few guys, and I spoke to one guy after, and he told me he was pos, so...
Okay,
yeah.
All right, well, look, you've done the right thing coming in, and what we can do is start some medication called PEP, or post-exposure prophylaxis. It involves taking some tablets for a month, but taking them every day can give you the best chance of avoiding infection if you've been exposed. It can be a bit unpleasant, but that'll give us the best chance of actually avoiding that.
Oh, and how long before I'll know?
Okay, it'll be 3 months down the track before I can give you the all clear, but we'll see each other between now and then and work out how we're going. Now, you said that you had unsafe sex on the weekend. Is there a reason why that happened?
Yeah, it was about 48 hours on crystal, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Crystal can have that effect. It can make you a bit disinhibited, and you can make you take risks that you normally wouldn't take when you're otherwise safe. But look, as I said, you've done the right thing. You've seen us within 72 hours of actually having the risk, and that's going to give you the best chance of avoiding any problems.
All right.
If you are suitably enhanced on whatever drugs, often you will do that and you'll actually crush that threshold, and it will be, so you will have unsafe sex. And it's kind of weird because you know that it's so not safe, and you know how dangerous it is, and you know what you know you're risking your life for a couple of hours, a couple of moments, but you're prepared to do it.
Hey. Hey, look, I was going through your bag for some Panadol and I found a bag of speed in there.
Yeah, so what?
So we didn't have any left from the weekend, Nick. What's it doing in there? Why have you got speed in your bag in the middle of the week? Are you using during the week? Is that what it is?
No, it's left over from the weekend.
It's not, Nick. We didn't have any left from the weekend.
Well, so what? You know?
So what? I think you're using too much. I think we're both using too much.
The problem with crystal is that you need to use it more and more to get the same effect. And after a while, the come down becomes quite intense. So people become very tired afterwards. And that tiredness can then compromise their work, compromise their studies. And so people have the tendency to then use the drug during the day as well, just to stay awake and just to function. I think that's a real pointer to people that they might be running into problems when the drug's no longer being used just when they're partying, but just to get by on a daily basis. You really need to stop and think, I might actually have a problem here.
I think that people get addicted for so many different reasons. I really do believe that one of the core things with addiction to any type of drug, be it alcohol, tobacco, whatever it is that there is a deficit within you, and you're using that drug to create a particular feeling in you, to fill up that empty spot in you. And that's what people do it for.
What I'm hearing is a real binge cycle on most weekends for you. What's concerning you about that?
Well, it's the come downs are pretty hard.
So you're starting to notice you can't get out of bed or find it difficult to function, or you're pretty down for a few days?
Yeah. And I don't want to let my family down. And I don't want to hurt my sister.
So you feel like some of the arguments you've been having with your sister lately have really catastrophised things, and have these then led to thoughts of either slowing down or even stopping?
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I just feel that if I stop partying, then I won't see my friends, and I don't want to be alone.
What happened?
She just flipped. Nikki flipped. She's been on this like massive 3-day bender, and she just came home and I don't know. Like she was saying how these people are after her and how like, and I was just like, don't argue with her. Like she's just fucked. Like it's, yeah, it's pretty fucked. She's lying to me constantly, like where she is and what she's taking and who she's hanging out with. And she blames me for getting her into it, you know? She blames me for getting her into drugs. Yeah, and I don't know, I guess I feel kind of guilty about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not fun anymore doing this. I can't keep living like this, you know?
Is there a part of you that wants her back?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want the Nikki I know back, not the Nikki that she is now. She just doesn't see it, you know? She doesn't see what she's doing and who she's hanging out with and what they're doing to her.
I love that photography you did. It was amazing. How did you even do it? Like, how did you get...
I need to talk to you now. You trashed the apartment last night.
Yeah, so what?
Nick, I want you to come home.
I don't want to come home.
But Nick, you're not.
You've been... Come on. Fuck off. No, leave me alone. Seriously.
Hey, so what happened?
She's getting worse. She's too much fucking trouble. She's gonna end up like one of those meth heads there.
Been on a bit of a bender again. Haven't you, Curtie? I think it's quite hard on Kurt when I go away. I don't like to go away, but I do have to for my work quite often. And then sometimes I do actually make the time to be home and to be here for Kurt, and he tells me that he's planned a big weekend. And I don't want to be around when he's like that. I didn't realise he was using quite so much, but I certainly don't want to be around him when he's coming down, and that's not the kind of person that I want to be with.
Well, initially, I confided in a friend, and they said, well, it's his choice, it's his fault, it's his problem. If he fucks up, then let him go. But I couldn't let him do that. He's my baby brother, you know? So I ended up doing some research on the internet, and like the websites recommended I should just go and see a doctor. So I did, because I really wanted to talk to somebody about how I should talk to him, because he was, you know, getting worse at the time. But then I convinced him in the end to go and see somebody, and all I can say is that let's hope he sticks to it.
Julian has relapsed and shows to me that he was in the kind of classical honeymoon phase where he was able to get off the drug really easily. And then he became overconfident, started exposing himself to high-risk situations where he'd been using before, exposing himself to drug use, possibly believing he could use one more time or can control it. And then what's happened is he's gone back into the drug use pattern which he was before, and now he's back to where he began.
Okay. Well, the HIV result is negative. And it looks as though the syphilis is treated, so good news all round. But what I want to talk to you today about is the crystal. How's everything going from that point of view?
So Nicky moved in with this chick who's really into meth. I started using it all the time, like heaps, every day. And then, I don't know what happened, it sounds kind of dodgy, like the whole story, but Nicky passed out one night and this girl took advantage of her. Like, I was all over her. I don't know if she stole some stuff from Nick too, but I was pretty full on. So,
Where's Nikki now?
she's here. She's back. Here, I'll show you. Here, can I try that? Nick. 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 Hey, gorgeous. How are you?
Giving up meth wasn't that hard for me. Okay, because I think I flipped myself out and I caught myself early enough. Yes, the high is so enjoyable. Yes, the partying is fantastic. Yes, the super ego. Yes, the sex. Yes, all of that intensity is fantastic when you're in that moment, when you're high. But when you're on the backside of it and you start flipping out, it's not hard to give up something that flips you out like that. Because you think to yourself for a moment, you know, or my thought at the time was, am I going to be able to come back?
One of the things I always remind them is that it may take a while for them to be able to have sex after they've stopped their crystal and have it without having any erectile problems. But sex is still going to be great once they get past their addiction. Sex is still going to be good. It may take a little while to get back to what it was before, but they will get it back.
It's bullshit to say the sex is going to be the same. I mean, nothing's going to compare to those 24-hour binges. I don't know. It'll be different. Maybe it'll have its advantages.
Sounds like you're doing really well in cutting back your use, but what you may find now is you start to develop more cravings, meaning when you're in the same situation when you've used before, your brain releases neurotransmitters such as dopamine, reminding you that it wants to use again. And then that sets off a craving, which is a bit like an ocean wave. So it gains momentum, it peaks, but eventually crash if you let it come by. So the most important thing is if you can recognise these cravings and allow them to just ripple into not much and let time go by, you'll be still quite okay and those cravings will get easier to deal with.
More than anything, it is about having very, very supportive family and friends and refocusing yourself and actually having a look at what you really value in life and what you really want to get out of life. Do you just want to end up, you know, a disco chick dead on the dance floor at 40? Like, that's cool if that's what you want to do, you know, that's fine. But it's kind of like, well, yeah. And then also realising that all these people that have helped you and cared for you and supported you, you actually realise how much you've hurt them. And when you actually realise how much you've hurt them, that is a serious motivator to not do it again. Because you don't realise at the time how much pain you put other people through. And then you get to the other side and you don't want to hurt them like that again. That's not fair.